Innocent Spirit is simply coming. I should thank you so much for having us this evening. Innocent Spirit is simply coming. I should thank you so much for having us this evening. Innocent Spirit is simply coming. I should thank you so much for having us this evening. Innocent Spirit is simply coming. I should thank you so much for having us this evening. Innocent Spirit is simply coming. I should thank you so much for having us this evening. Innocent Spirit is simply coming. I should thank you so much for having us this evening. Innocent Spirit is simply coming. I should thank you so much for having us this evening. Innocent Spirit is simply coming. I should thank you so much for having us this evening. Innocent Spirit is simply coming. I should thank you so much for having us this evening. Innocent Spirit is simply coming. I should thank you so much for having us this evening.
So lovely, good evening Zambia, good evening Africa, and warm welcome to the bigger debate right here on KBN TV from Zambia's capital city Lusaka. With me, Innocent Spirit, and simply call me IP. We discuss the failed dialogue in the Republic of Zambia on matters of the Constitution. Now, even this evening, of course, we've decided to summon different stakeholders from various institutions, and we start with the minister himself who has decided to spare time with us in the studio, conversating with you, the people of Zambia, out here via our DSTV channel 279 and GoTV channel 27, and also Topside Decoder channel 102. His name is Honorable Chipo Kamlenga, who is Minister of Commerce, Trades and Industry. He also serves as a member of Parliament coming from the government and also the United Party for National Development, UPND. Of course, next to him, we have President Kasonde Mwenda from the opposition Economic Freedom Fighters in Zambia. And also we are being joined by the only lady by the name of Ambassador Kasese Bota, who joins us this evening, Mwaba. She's here in the studio. Of course, not forgetting the other face coming from the CSO in the name of representing Celestine Mukandela from the Patriotic Front. His name is Kolala Mukupa. Gentlemen and a lady, good evening and welcome to the Big Hour Debate on KBN TV.
Good evening. Thank you and good evening.
Good evening, thank you.
Thank you so much. Minister, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Great. Let me begin that, of course, you've been caught by the people of Zambia through KBN TV. Basically, all we are having is a normal conversation like we have done before. We are not here to have battles or to turn KBN TV into a fighting ground, but we are here to conversate. And I always emphasize, whenever my guest comes into the studio, that when we appear on TV like this one, it doesn't mean that we are more intelligent than the people of Zambia. The people of Zambia are more knowledgeable on the matters we are discussing, and therefore we must be able to accord them the respect they deserve. I hope that is clear to all of us. I can't hear the answer.
That's clear.
Very
Yes.
clear.
Thank you. And the rules of the game is that each one of you or each of the speakers, which is yourselves, will be given 2 minutes to submit. And along the way, if you want to interject, you are free to interject. But remember, do not spend much of the time on interjections because you may be eating onto your time. So let's ensure that we respect the time and we submit as the questions will be guided going forward. I hope that is clear again.
It's clear.
Clear.
Thank you so much. So let's get into it. We have, gentlemen and a lady, the elephant in the room, which is the constitutional making process, which was begun some months ago. At some point, this bill was deferred by President Hakainde Hichilema after so many demands and requests from the people of Zambia, including yourselves, from the opposition and also from the CSO. And the president decided to listen to yourselves and we, the people of Zambia. The bill was deferred. As we speak today, I will break the news that the bill has been restored before the floor of the House. Something that, of course, we are going to dive into that. But of course, let's just have a synopsis of what has unfolded regarding the ongoing constitutional amendment in the Republic of Zambia. So we watch together the clip and the viewers watching the program right now. All right, thank you so much. Let's get into it. Let's begin from here. I'll start with the minister. Minister, your government has been in power for the last 4 years now, getting to the 5th year. You are remaining with about 8-9 months before the general elections. And with so many things that have happened, a lot of development, of course, and not forgetting or ignoring some of what has been described as scandals from the opposition or other stakeholders. But let's deal with the elephant in the room about the constitutional amendment process in the country. Why do you want this constitution to be amended? Let's begin from there.
Okay, look, there are so many issues that need to be addressed in the best interest of the Zambian public. And I'll be very clear with you. To answer your question in a very short way, why do we want the amendment of the constitution to best serve the Zambian public in many different facets? Economic, social development of our economy. So that's the primary reason why we want to enforce or try to implement the constitution amendments to bring better service delivery to our people with easier ways of doing it, with an all-inclusive constitution that is talking about young people coming in on board, smart women coming in on board who have been marginalized because of the inability to have the resources or a chance to get into parliament. And also to correct the way a constitutional system is enforced, maybe through presidential, parliamentary, or should I say, tripartite by-elections, or elections themselves. The president mentioned at one time that we need to sort out this lacuna that we have in the constitution. Let's look at Article 52, among many others. So we really have to focus on ultimately what we do for the Zambian public, how best can we do it, what can we bring on board. So ultimately it's just for good service delivery for the Zambian people.
Does it mean that without amending the constitution you cannot deliver?
Now look, we've continued to deliver for the people, even as we are doing it right now. But we are listening to the cries of the public. Young people today say, look, in that parliament we have, if I challenge you to say, go and show me one youth today there. If there is one, probably you have to search, probably there's none. Other people are there, they're masquerading to be youths. I was appointed minister, I went to parliament myself at 38. Was I a youth? No, I was not a youth. The Zambian public system, the way it works, the Zambian social development economic system, the way it works, for a young man who has got even the brains and the right wits to get into parliament, it's difficult. It's almost a near impossibility because going through the campaign process, the elective process itself, it's something that is unimaginable. Let's look at our women. I come from a constituency in Chuempala, Lulamba, smart women here in Lusaka and other places, in Impika, in Monze, in Sinda, smart women who can contribute meaningfully and represent their women in an able manner. But they don't have that thing. So deliberately, we are thinking as a government, say, how can we now get them on board to have their voice be heard? Across Africa, we are the least with women representation in parliament. We don't say we've marginalized them, because the system that we've always had has never been inclusive. So we want to bring now a system that is inclusive.
Right.
And then now let's go to the other part, which is very interesting. And I see some other commentators who were pro this thing I'm going to mention to you. But now because it is coming under the UPND, they are pro against it. Let's talk about the delimitation. It's a constitutional thing. Every after 10 years, this must happen. Why do we have to go to delimitation? Because populations increase. The economic development needs proper representation, accountability, commitment, and attention by the relevant stakeholders who have been meant as leaders. So we are at a point where we have to implement all these policies. But ultimately, to the gain of the Zambian public, not an individual political party, not a certain sect in social economics, in religious backgrounds or social cultural backgrounds, zero. Bring everybody on board to make sure that it lasts a lifetime. And we're not doing it for Chipoka because he's member of parliament to do or minister. It should be policies that will serve me right even when I'm gone.
Right.
We are doing it, economic development, delivery. But we can even do much better when these policies come in place.
Interesting. I'll still come back to you. Let's hear from President Kasonde Mwenda. What is your position on the constitutional making process in Zambia?
I'm sure as Zambians we all have phones, and this could better be explained as a missed call. This is the worst thing that could happen to us as a country, that in the middle of a war, we start having a party. Right now, we have got serious problems. And I'm so privileged to have next to me my brother, as he has put it across, the Minister of Trade and Investment. And just before him, not long ago in 2022, we have the records that when the UPND came into power, they came with a lot of promise that enchanted us as Zambians. I was beaten by the UPND in the 2021 elections when I stood as president, and they ushered in something that I also was so happy. They gave us in 2022 an investment pledge which was beamed to the whole country like the way the TV is. And I remember there's a Catholic father who said, you know, Urutoshi, we still remember that story. And on that particular day, we were given 54 billion US dollars in commitment to investments. That in the coming years, we are going to see investments in this country to a total amount of 54 billion US dollars. Here we are today, that Nakunganda Kulikoloboy, we are living in darkness. We have more serious pressing issues. It is an era of comedy that today we have to dedicate our meager resources to a constitutional making process which is not even in the UPND agenda, it is not in their manifesto, it is a knee-jerk, which is just a power grab. So it's very unfortunate that we are even here, instead of us discussing how we can keep the people that are starving to death, have something on their plate. We are discussing a constitution which is not even a crisis.
When you make mention that the constitutional making process is not in the UPND manifesto, what do you mean exactly? Have you read the UPND manifesto?
Of course, who hasn't? They paraded it. If there are people who are very good at communicating their vision in opposition, was the UPND. We are even wondering now why they are struggling to explain even simple things like delimitation. My brother made mention of delimitation. If I may ask him with all due respect, where are they even going to divide the constituency? Because that is a secret which is only known to the UPND. Of course, it is a fanciful idea. We would want to delimitate some places. But should it be a secret? We know the ECZ...
My question is simple, President. Remember, the people are watching the program, and my question is, have you read the UPND manifesto for you to allege that it's not part of the agenda, it's not part of the UPND manifesto?
Wow.
At least the UPND manifesto I've read, it is part of the UPND agenda. If you went to the UPND manifesto page 9 thereabout, it actually suggests that the UPND would also reform the constitution, or would make reforms in the Zambian constitution.
Definitely, whether it be what it is, but what we are in now does not permit that we should prioritize that. There are so many things, there are a million things that we are promised. For instance, we even promised that at this particular juncture, if I may check the actual records, we are supposed to have reduced the fuel to 17 kwacha. I have that record. I think that begs more attention for us to attend to than to start doing something that will make, we could have so many problems as a country, but we need to have the ability to have priorities.
Right. I wanted just to clarify that from the moderator perspective here. When you say it's not part of the UPND manifesto, and I've told you that the UPND page 9, it actually suggests that their plan is to make reforms to the Zambian constitution. So I wanted that to be established.
It is noted.
Thank you. Let's hear from the citizens first. Madam DSG, what is your position and the position of our CF as regards to the constitutional making process in Zambia?
Thank you. The current constitutional making process, isn't it? Not just any other.
Yes.
So it's about Bill 7.
Yes.
We feel that the Zambia is actually in the ICU in terms of socio-economic growth, and the people of Zambia are more interested about having power 24 hours a day. We are more interested in eating 3 meals a day. We are more interested in ensuring we have enough health workers in the hospitals and we have medicines in the hospitals. So the Constitution, which has been sprung on us, I think it has been more like ambushed on the people of Zambia, because this Constitution is not in any way people-led. We know that the Constitution is a very important tool in promoting governance, but also in ensuring that you have equitable growth, both at the personal level and community and the whole nation as a whole. But however, a Constitution is a tool that belongs to each and every Zambian. It does not just belong to President Hakainde Hichilema. It does not only belong to my brother here, the Honorable Minister. It belongs to all of us. So what the sentiments we are seeing that are being given as the reason for wanting to review the Constitution, they are very scary. We have seen the president going public in full view of the 20 million Zambians watching him. And he makes proclamations that because your views are different from my views, then you hate me and you hate my tribe. That is just so uncalled for. It is something that is scaring each and every Zambian, because we know that when we put a president in office, we may not agree on everything, but the president is a peacemaker. Now our president is the one who is actually fueling divisions with the language that he's using. You saw yesterday what happened, where the Catholic Church was called names. They are called, they should not have a voice because they do not have children, or because of the Constitution. A Constitution is a unifier. A Constitution is supposed to have a voice of everyone, a voice of a single woman, a voice of a spinster, a voice of a priest, a voice of a pastor. No one is segregated. But our friends in the UPND are going to dinner with people like that. They are going to lunch, getting them, and they are laughing when they are making such serious pronouncements of hate. They actually border on hate speech. And if it was me and my brother, President Kasonde, and my brother here, who had uttered those words, today would be talking from Chimbokaila.
Oh, yes.
But for our president and his people, they are immune from, yes, the president has got that immunity, but it's not the immunity for him to do wrong things while in office, to perpetuate divisions in the name of constitution making.
So you are alleging that the president is perpetuating division in the country?
He is.
Thank you so much. I'll get back to you. Let's have from Mr. Mkupa from the CSO. What is your position regarding the ongoing debate in the country about the constitutional making process?
Thank you so much, IP. And I'm grateful to be here. This is something that is of contention at the moment in Zambia, and most of the people around the nation are grappling around this issue, and grappling in the sense that why does it become an issue of urgency in the minds and the hearts of UPND? I must state here before I even proceed that we as a CSO stand with the Oasis Forum. Bill 7 that is being propagated by the UPND government is a nullity, and it was thrown out of the Constitutional Court, and therefore it is illegal, and we cannot discuss it. I want to echo the words of my earlier colleagues that spoke before me, and maybe I was made to make the last introductory remarks for a reason. I want to address the Minister of Trade and Industry. Honorable Chipoka, you are not called honorable because you go into Parliament, but you must be able to do the honorable thing. And what is that honorable thing? Which is what my colleagues are talking about. Before the elections of 2021, the UPND government promised the Zambian people a number of things. It's all out there. Who doesn't know about the 10-point plan? Who doesn't know about how they were saying they were going to reduce the price of fertilizer, the price of mealie meal, and all these things? Now, when I look at all these things, the biggest question that begs an answer is, why the rush? Why the panic? We are faced with so many challenges in this country. The price of mealie meal has doubled, if not tripled. The price of fuel has doubled, if not tripled. The cost of the kwacha against foreign exchange rates it's all over the place. There are so many things that our people are grappling with. If it's the issue of load shedding, I can't even begin to talk about it. It's unbearable. The cost of living is high. These are things that the Zambian people out there are grappling with. And I would think that any caring government and any caring leader in form of a president, his cabinet, and all those that surround him would actually apply their minds on these things that are very critical to the people. Talk about load shedding.
As you wind up?
Yes, talk about load shedding. Load shedding has collapsed so many hours, so many businesses. How on earth can you grow an economy with only 3 hours of power? In certain places, it's actually 1 hour or 2 hours. So what I'm just trying to say is, this bill does not come in good faith. It comes in bad faith. The Zambians detest it. If I give you statistics, IP, you actually notice that the people, or should I say, the people in the Zambian majority that qualify to either vote or make submissions to the bill are over 11 million in total. But the submissions that have been received by the UPND government are from 11,800 people. I think, if I'm right, 11,830. That does not even account for 1% of the total population. So when they say it is the people, the Constitution itself stipulates in the preamble that this is our document. It must be driven by us, the Zambian people, not by an individual. So what is happening now is illegal, and we do not support it. We stand with the Oasis Forum, and we demand that the government withdraws this bill. I thank you.
All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. For now, we'll go back to the screens so that we could watch some of the clips and see what has transpired around this discussion of the constitutional making process in Zambia.
Then you blame HH. Who was not there? This guy is always blamed. I appreciate it. Head of state, you must be blamed. But equally, the head of state must call out things that are wrong. Now, imagine, on a day you want to toy, you want friction, you want street fights, which we stopped because the dialogue table is open. Imagine another group goes in the streets and they meet in the streets. What do you think will happen? There will be a clash there, and the investors will say, no, I can't go to Zambia. I can't go to Zambia because there's no safety there. These are the issues we're faced with now. There will be trouble there. My investment may be put on fire. That is the risk we run. So why choose that window when you have a window to go to present at the technical committee, you have a window to come, first to go to court, which you have done already, you've gone to court. You only want a potential for a fight. Kulichani mukati moja. What is the motivation? Why you want to come and break that door there, instead of breaking the door, me have said, come inside. Let's sit and talk there. Come inside. Select a team. As the civil society did, they selected a team and they came, we sat. And I was listening. I told my team, I think there's a point there. There's a good point there. Let's do it. And we've done it. So why do you want to shout outside? Because shouting, you can't hear what each one is saying. How will we reason by shouting at each other? Come inside. So I've invited colleagues. Ngenan Mukati, this is your state house. Me, I'm just working from here. But this is your state house.
In case you are still watching the program, this is the bigger program right here on KBN TV from Zambia's capital city, Lusaka. And I am your host, Innocent Perry. You can simply call me IP. We are here discussing the failed dialogue between the government and the WASIS Forum. I have in the studio Honorable Chipo Kamulenga and also President Kasonde Mwenda, EFF, as well as Ambassador Bota, as well as got Mr. Mukupa in the studio. Let's start. I'll end with the Minister. Minister, please be patient. I'll end with you. Sure. Let me start with Mr. Mukupa here. When you listen to that video from the President, there was actually prior an arranged protest which had been organized by the WASIS Forum and of course other stakeholders on the 28th of November 2025. However, the President quickly intervened and said, look, there's no need of you going on the street when we can easily discuss and dialogue. What did you pick from that event?
Thanks, IP. And I was smiling because I was actually going to request that since the Minister went first, I should go first now. So thank you so much for that opportunity.
Right.
Now, I have looked at the clip that you've showed regarding the President and the dialogue regarding the Oasis Forum and all that. Now, here's what I'm going to say, IP. The thing is, conducting peaceful demonstrations and protests is not a preserve of Hakainde Hichilema. Conducting peaceful demonstrations and protests is a preserve of democracy. So we are not going to be held at ransom because President HH does not feel that people should demonstrate. Now, he talks of banging the door and that people must come in. Listen, IP. Trust is earned. We have so many social media receipts of things that the President said and promised before he formed government. And after he formed government, there was no shame in the UPND leadership to U-turn and condemn or actually even support the very things they condemned. Now, it's 4 years down the line. Have civil society spoken against proceeding with Bill 7? Yes, they have. Has he listened to them? Of course not. So, what was going to change? Personally, if you had to ask me, even before the demonstration was cancelled, I knew that there was nothing that was going to change. Why am I saying so? Because President Hakainde Hichilema has a personality of not wanting to hear, but he must be heard. You see what I'm saying? So I knew that when the planned demonstration is cancelled and these people go to State House, this was going to be the end result. I knew it and I could predict it. So we find ourselves in a very precarious situation. And it is very unfortunate. And I want to state that the President should be honest with the people. Let's not go to dialogue when you know that you are trying to play a PR stunt. Let's go to dialogue because the intent is that we must dialogue. Right. So what I see from that clip, according to what the President was saying, no one wanted to break the door. In fact, he said, what's going to happen if the people go to protest and they find people stronger than them waiting for them? What did he mean? Who are the stronger people? Who was going to send them? Because that was going to be a peaceful demonstration by the church and the other governing and the other bodies like the EFZ and the rest. So, how did he know, or what made him think people start breaking doors? Not at all. Today, as we speak, there was a statement which I actually even find laughable. He's the one that called the Oasis Forum to go and dialogue, but he says government has suspended. Who has suspended what? Who called for the dialogue? Because in the Oasis Forum, there was no room for dialogue because we had sought dialogue in the past. Was our dialogue heard? It was not. Did dialogue yield any results? There was nothing. So the only way is to hold a peaceful demonstration to show the unhappiness, to show the discontent within us. That's the only way we appeal to someone that doesn't want to listen.
Right. Thank you so much. Permit me once again to play the last clip perhaps of the response to that failed dialogue we're talking about, and then from there I'll allow the ambassador as well as president and finally the minister himself to give a feedback to that regard. Let's have the clips.
Mr. President, the Archbishop, the ministers and other government officials present here, the Oasis Forum delegation, I just want to say thank you to everyone around here. Mr. President, I will start by thanking you for extending this invitation to the Oasis Forum. I think that just demonstrated good leadership. I know from where we are coming from, it was the issue of our minister just opposite to me responds to us in the newspapers. We also go to the newspapers. It was a media fight. And when it is a media fight, everyone wants to win. We wanted to win, they wanted to win, so it wasn't a good thing. And we are happy that you invited us to come here. We are grateful for that invitation. But allow me, Mr. President, to be very, very candid on the reason why we are here. We wanted to be here for a celebration and not what we are here for. The people of Zambia, I'm very sure, would have loved us to come here to bring thanks and gratitude for your delivery on the promises that we as people of Zambia expected. But we are here to discuss the amendment of the Constitution, which is supposed to be a very straightforward issue. Much as we are saying that the amendment of the Constitution brings issues, but I think if process and content is followed from the word go, I don't think any of the citizens of Zambia would have reason to raise questions, especially us as women, because there were issues, or there are issues in the Bill 7 that pertain to inclusion in the Constitution, in the amendment. But for us to come back to you and sit in this manner, or go to the media, go to the public and speak in the manner that we are speaking, Mr. President, there is something that is not adding up, and we thought we could just have it corrected before we can proceed. There is something that needs to be corrected. Process of the Constitution amendment must be a process of the Constitution amendment, and that is what has worried us. There are a number of issues, Mr. President, maybe that we could have wanted to be discussing here, especially that if you talk about the previous regime or successive governments, there are a number of issues that you and us went together into the dungeons. And if there were people that were in the dungeons deeper than all of us, I think it's you, because you experienced everything. Hence, the reason why you are here. We wanted to vote for a president who has experienced, who has cried with us, who has known what the people of Zambia wants, so that when you are here, you will remember that that time we were here, this is what we wanted. Let me give to them this time we were here, this is what we wanted, let me give it to them. So we were actually happy to see you here because we were very sure that most of the things that we cried for, because we were crying together, were going to be very straightforward and not a situation where we come and sit and plead, or we come and sit and cry, or we even intend to go to the streets. I will not say a lot of things here, Mr. President, but I will indicate that we are here to discuss the Constitution amendment, and we have expectations. Our expectations, Mr. President, are that one, we expect that Bill 7 is completely withdrawn from the floor of the House. And two, we expect a fresh process supported by legal safeguards to be commenced. And thirdly, we expect that such new process be inclusive and not rushed, and it should be holistic. And when we talk about it being holistic, Mr. President, like I said earlier, we don't expect you not to know that what is important mainly here in Zambia is to open up the Bill of Rights, because that is where me and the next person are sitting. I think we will appreciate if we go by that process. I thank you.
All right, thank you so much. This is the bigger program right on KBN TV from Zambia's capital city, Lusaka. I am your host, IP. Of course, let's hear from Ambassador Bota from the Citizens First. Ambassador, when you listen to the video from the President, another video from the Oasis Forum, and subsequently both parties have communicated that the dialogue has finally collapsed. What do you think could have led to the collapse of this process?
Thank you very much. You know, that negotiation and dialogue are very critical and fundamental elements in any constitution-making process. And we expected that this should have even happened right in the beginning, in the initiation phase of the constitution-making process. However, we take cognizance of the fact that this constitution-making process was not about the people of Zambia. It is actually State House initiated and State House led process. That is why we have seen very little consultation with the people of Zambia. Because obviously, when you are hiding something, you do not follow the process at all. And no amount of trying to sanitize the process can render the constitution-making a legitimacy process. You know, it's flawed both in the process and in the content. And this is why when the Oasis Forum kept asking for dialogue, I think we have heard that from Mr. Mukuka, they were not being given chance. And when they said, they called the people and said they were now going to demonstrate, to have a peaceful demonstration, which is their right. It is my right to demonstrate.
Yes.
It is the right of each and every Zambian to
Yes.
demonstrate if we feel aggrieved and we feel we are not being heard. It is one way of expressing our disquiet, our dissatisfaction with the government, because they don't want to hear us.
Yes.
When we said this is happening, the president said, where do you stay? In Zambia, there's no suffering. So what do? We get to the streets. And the UPND used to be in the streets before. They used to be in the dungeons when they were in the opposition. Now that they are eating well, everything is okay, they turn their back on the people they were suffering with. They got 2.8 million to put the president in office. Today he has called all of us who voted for him as haters of him and his tribe. You know, so this is why when the president now says, "I've come, we talk," even that the invitation was not a genuine invitation.
Yes.
It was an invitation. It was a process of ticking the box.
Yeah.
That since in constitution making process, there's an element where it says dialogue, let me call them. And it ticks the box. And since they are coming, that is it. Immediately they enter, he had no intentions of having genuine dialogue with the Oasis Forum.
Right.
You know, and that is why this thing, the process has not even worked. And when you're inviting people for a dialogue, you limit your words. But he was inviting them with a mouth full of bitterness. What kind of invitation is that? Can you be that angry and invite people to come and dialogue? Actually, the Oasis Forum, I must commend them. They are very brave. Archbishop Chama is brave. Madam Beauty Katebe is brave. Lungisani Zulu is brave. I would not have gone to State House for those negotiations because of the manner the invitation was made. He spent 3 hours talking about his feelings as an individual. And just that talk where he made the invitation gave away the actual incentive behind constitution making process. It's not about the people of Zambia. It's not about Southern Province. It's about the presidency.
There was a concern earlier from Honorable Minister there, and his concern was that previously, when this process was started or began under the previous administration, let's talk about the PF, which was there yesterday.
Yes.
There was not much of such an opposition to condemn that bill or to condemn the constitutional making process. Why should it be now? Why should you speak the loudest under the UPND? Not only from the minister, but also the president was concerned. Say, we've passed through this process before, and the people did not speak as louder as they are today. Okay. Where is the problem? And you've been a long-serving member in this country yourself, as ambassador. Where were you in the past? Why didn't you speak? Why didn't you condemn the constitutional making process? And also, when is the right time to amend the constitution?
I think I'll contend that around.
Sorry, I wanted to say something to interject.
This is a question. I'll still come back to you. Worry not.
Okay. I can turn that question around, and I want to ask the president and the honorable minister here. Which country do they live in? Where have they been living since 1991, since 1990? Because if they have been living in Zambia, they would have known that Zambians have been protesting to this kind of constitution amendment reviews. Since 1991, Zambians have been protesting. And I've said, I want to turn this question around because they themselves have been saying when we complain that, which Zambia do you stay in for you to say you're suffering? So the president and his cabinet, they have not been staying in Zambia, because if they've been staying in Zambia, they would have known that in 1990, or before we had the third term campaign under President Chiluba, because he wanted to change the constitution, and we protested. We used to honk on Fridays. We used to wear black on Friday so that we do not have the third term reforms made in our constitution. The president and his cabinet, including the learned Attorney General, keep talking about changing the 1991 constitution in an election year. When I look at them, they are my age, even older than me. I was at university in medical school in 1990. I was actually at not even medical school. I was at University of Zambia here, you know. So we were not supposed to have elections in 1993. The elections were, 1991. They were scheduled for 1993.
Yes.
However, there was the increasing dissidence among the people.
Exactly.
We were complaining that we want to change from having a frog and President Kaunda on the ballot paper. We wanted to change from Wamuyayaya, which is about to come today, you know. And we said we don't want to have Wamuyayaya, we want to change. And President Kaunda heeded to the heat and the core of the people of Zambia.
Yes.
In December 1990, he said, I have agreed to change the constitution from one-party system to multi-party democracy. And because I've changed this, I'm also calling an early election in 1991.
Yes.
Can President Hakainde Hichilema call for early election this year so that in January we can change the constitution as he wants?
Thank you so much. I'll still come back to you, Ambassador. Let's hear from President Mwenda in regards to the videos we played. The failed dialogue, the president calls for a dialogue meeting at State House because he wanted to be proactive in preventing any possible loss of either public property or lives, as it were. But you cannot be knocking at the door which is already open. Can you come through? We discuss. And eventually, the Oasis Forum, they went to meet the president. But this matters failed. What do you think has been the problem?
We judge things by the precedents and the things we have experienced before. Ngawamona tikwena imbwa ya palya ikalya nga pali ba road firapo mupita. Lango lefika kula bano kutina because it has happened to you before. Most of the things as human beings, we react to learned behavior. I think all Zambians that are very particular and pay attention, with all due respect, no malice intended, we all know the character of our incumbent president.
Yes.
We know his personality on how he handles himself. Not long ago, a few months ago, and I'm sure my brother here could attest to this fact, that Munali Nickel was closed. Ibiza, those are the contractors. They left without paying the workers. The workers demanded to march to State House. I saw the letter, they brought the letter saying, we have demanded to march to State House. When they took off, and before they could start, a letter was given from State House saying, cut off the march. Come, let us dialogue. They called me saying, on the day that they were told to come for dialogue, they found nobody waiting for them. Nobody attended to them. Actually, they were chased at State House. I saw a letter signed by government asking that they go for dialogue. When the Oasis Forum were invited for a dialogue, as economic freedom fighters, we released a statement saying, you are being windhooked. You don't know what you are walking in. Ask your friends there at Munali Nekyo. They cried. I saw my sister, Wakatebe, saying, you have done an honorable thing. I said, ma'am, I know you don't know what you are dealing with. We knew that was a BID, brought in dead proposal. Serious machinations behind the scenes. Even when they put down the protest, did Hakainde Hichilema break on his process? He actually heightened the speed of his process behind the scenes. As them they were going for dialogue, Hakainde has got no room for dialogue. I should commend my brother, with all due respect, not to put you in an awkward place, but for you to survive those cabinet meetings, you must be gifted. Because what we see from outside here, the leader that we have, with no malice intended, he does not have room. Let me give another example. Not long ago, as a country, we are in mourning and we are embattled. We have failed to bury a former Republican president. This man is a Christian. Fellowship. Mountains now. As Christians, we should have a heart for humans.
True.
Right now, we have failed to bury Baba Edgar Lungu. And the reason is, Hakainde Hichilema called for dialogue. I don't know what has happened to that dialogue because it's a totally failed dialogue. So when a person who has got a past of failed dialogues calls for dialogues, because to him, a dialogue is not a dialogue, it's a monologue. You sit down and he lectures you. The way he's been lecturing us about how much we hate Tongas. We love Tongas. My own elder brother, Benjamin Wenda, has married a Tonga. We love Tongas. I even give an example to some other colleague of mine, Mao Sampa. We love our friends. We love each other.
Let me just correct that. Let me just correct that because at least from where I stand, I could be behind. There was no mention of Tongas being hated coming from the president or anyone else. I'm speaking from the position where I hold right now.
Yes, we are not kids.
Yeah.
When somebody says, I don't know if they say those things hoping we would be windhooked, not understand what they're talking about, we are not down. For one to say, you hate me, I did not choose where I should be born from. What does that have to do with where you are born from? Some of us talk about born from because
but of course that has got nothing to do with Tongas. I want us to move away from that tribal donation. Those are my words anyway.
But IP,
Probably not
IP,
the
sorry.
tribe, because the tribe automation was started by the president. We cannot just mention the tribe, maybe.
Yes.
The actual name
Exactly,
of the tribe.
exactly.
But the president did say, you hate me and my tribe.
No.
That- I think
IP,
there was
let's
something like
look,
that.
IP.
Okay,
Sorry,
let's
sorry,
allow
sorry.
the president
No, no.
to-
But let's
Sorry,
not
I want to
mention
make.
the
I'll give you the
I want to make a comment
Okay,
on
hold
that
on,
just
President,
just before I lose my thoughts.
Yes.
Now listen, I like what President Mwenda has said. Taturi baiche. There's a statement which says you can fool people sometimes, but you can't fool people all the time. You understand? When you are given a job, for instance, and they ask you to perform, they will give you 6 months probation. Thereafter, you have to prove yourself. This is a president and a government that has been given 4 years, and they have failed to perform. Now, going to what Mr. Kasonde Mwenda is talking about, personally, I feel that is manipulation for failed leadership and performance. You want to now blame and bring in tribe. The president's words, if I was to be very specific, said,
Yeah.
Finshinachta nemulanda. He talked about how the other presidents succeeded to amend the constitution. Yeah. And then he said, I did not choose to be born where I was born from. The question is, where was he born from? Let's be honest. Where was he born from?
Exactly.
Southern province.
that is what-
Hold on, innocent. Where was he born from? Southern province. What type or what tribe hails from Southern province? Those are Tonga people.
There are so many tribes there.
Okay, hold on.
Yes, there are so many tribes.
Yes, but then listen. That is what the president of EFF is trying to communicate to you. Let us not gloss
Hold
over.
on. In Southern Province, there are so many tribes there. you won't know if I tell you that I was born in Southern Province. So let's not get to there.
IP.
Let's deal with the facts. I can
IP.
play the video from the president.
IP.
He never mentioned any tribe in there.
Okay, let's make progress.
Do we agree?
Let's make
The
progress.
Ambassador,
actual
do we
tribe-
agree?
No, the actual
No.
tribe we didn't, but he did
Exactly.
mention tribe.
No, it's not. Let's
Okay,
let's be
President,
progressive.
proceed.
Let's be progressive.
Proceed.
What we are saying, you know what?
Yeah.
Some of us, the way we are born, me, I'm an half caste. One parent from one region, the other parent from another region.
Same here.
Okay. So this, I'm looking for a good word. This confusion, for lack of this madness of saying Okowa Makuri John, we need to address it. For some of us, it irritates us.
Yes.
Okay. To the core,
Yes.
to the bone. Let me be very honest. During the PF, when you see a list of employment, we used to see those things. And we should be very honest.
Yes.
This time when you look at an appointment list, it is just the same. Now it has changed. Look, if we are not able to confront the real problems we are facing, then I think the kind of leader that I am is not what you are looking for.
Yes.
If you want to continue pretending,
Glossing over the
you can't see that we are repeating the same nuisance instead of us curing it.
Exactly.
We will not go anywhere, IP.
Yes.
What this government is doing is detestable.
Yes.
It is giving privileges on tribal grounds.
Yes.
They are not the first. Yes, they are not the first. PF did it, my brother. Yes, PF did it. Twalifimwe fyama tribal, twalifimwe mu PF. Not fimwana na futi mu UPND. And we are saying this should come to a stop at one point.
Yes.
Right.
We are one Zambia, one nation. But we will not cure this deficiency by us pretending.
Right.
So when I said Tonga, I wanted to hit the nail where it belongs.
Yes.
Okay. We know predominant is not the first time.
And those are
so,
your own ways.
You know, I don't know whose other words I'm using.
Not from
I'm
the
using my
president.
words.
That I will maintain. Because I can play the clip for you so that we find out where the president mentioned a tribe. So I wanted to establish that those are your own ways, not so.
What's the president's tribe? IP.
Okay,
I
maybe
don't
let's.
know.
What,
let me
tri- what
actually-
tribe is he?
I don't know his tribe.
So if he says, is it because of where I was born? What's that
I
got to
don't know
do?
where he was born
Wha-
from.
Okay, what
As
has that
we know.
got? What has that got to do with the constitution making
Hold
process?
on, comrades. I can be Piri by surname, but you don't know where I was born from.
But we know where he was born from.
You understand? I wanted to establish that because I'm dealing with the facts here, not the innuendos whatsoever. Let's hear from the minister.
No, you interjected my time.
please.
My time I couldn't even
okay,
answer.
Please proceed as you conclude.
Yes. So now, what is the problem we have at hand? It's not a tribe we have a problem with. You know, Hakainde Chilema is many more things beyond tribe. It's also UPND. What if people hate UPND and their manifesto? It's also a possibility. Why should he cherry pick of what he is and say, no problem, it could be nothing to do with how and where he was born. It could be with the way he conducts himself.
Yeah.
Right now, we have reason. I'm the guy that wrote The Economist. I stood up for Hakainde Hichilema, and I'm not ashamed. The time he was locked up, we are the people that stood up now. And we understand and we respect this is a democracy. But let's be honest, when you look at Bill 7, it is a poisoned chalice. If I may borrow the words of President Hakainde Hichilema, he says, even if you put sugar in poison, it is still poison, you will die. But now we are being forced under Bill 7 to look for the sugar in the poison and say, but okay, chichile na chilowa, but chichile ni paya. It is very unfortunate. Look at this. Bill 7, by structure and content,
conclude.
it is a power grab. It goes in there to say President Hakainde Hichilema endeavors to delimitate. But where is he going to cut? He has failed to give us the report. And we know by character and all instance, the moment he was in Northwestern Province, I should believe that's Kasempa, he told them, that's a very derogatory word. Let me not use it because I do not subscribe to
And
that.
you're on TV.
And I'm on TV. Yeah. He used a certain word saying here, but now we are going to divide this. So we have been following where he has been telling people he's going to divide. And it unsettles us. That's not the only problem that we have. He creates powers that denounces the very democracy which are intra-party. He says in this proposed bill, but I've seen people here commenting and saying, what is even wrong in this same bill? Now we got to tell you what is wrong. What is wrong in this bill is that it gives the Republican president or a party president to be able to fire an elected MP like my brother Wachipoka, who was elected by the people. He will say, by misconduct, I remove you. And then, I don't know which power now that the president is now assuming the power of an electorate.
That is under which proposal?
That's Bill 7.
Under the 13 proposal.
Yes, definitely. So,
under which proposal, to be specific? Which number?
wow.
Because I've got a copy here.
Bring the copy.
Okay.
Okay. So, what I'm saying is that what it is doing, technically, is that you are transferring the powers of the electorate into the president. That instead, as a way of saying we are trying to overlook by-elections, he is bringing in now the power, is assuming the power of electorate by being able to replace a fired MP by his appointment. Now, it becomes now a choice of the president.
Where is that being proposed? I've given you that copy to just cite for the benefit of the viewers out there.
Number.
Okay, you have put it as number 12 here. Reforming nomination procedures. This is where it falls.
What does it say?
Wow, you haven't said even entirely what it really is. This is not, let me read what you have said.
Just read what
Addresses issues related to resignations, disqualifications, and related processes. So what I'm telling you are related processes. And the related process is that according to the submission, which we all have here, and the people of Zambia there have, is that as a way that the UPND proposed to navigate around by-elections, is that if somebody is removed by the party that held that seat will simply appoint a person.
Right. Thank you so much. Hold on, President. I'll still come back to you. Let's hear from the Minister. Okay. Minister, you have collected all the concerns coming from your your colleagues here.
Yes.
What is your take over this issue, and why did this dialogue fail? What is the problem?
Okay. IP, I have listened keenly and very patiently from Tonse, CF, and EFF. When you invited me to this program, I saw on your advert and you told me we're having Zambia Must Prosper president to come here, and I was motivated. I'll be with the president here, another president, and CF. So when I realized that one of the presidents is not here, out of integrity, I thought, look, the advert is talking about this, which I've also publicized on my Facebook page and other places. I think I'll be seen to be duping the Zambian people of a certain advert. So it's better I withdraw from this. But I decided, but now I'm glad I did not withdraw. I stayed behind to have this interview. First, I want you to pay particular attention, which I know you did, and as much as the Zambian public. The debate here is about the constitutional amendment process and why it has not proceeded with the Oasis Forum. See how the opposition have shifted the course of the amendment process into one individual, HH. It's not about the process, it's not about the contents, it's about HH now. I want the Zambian public now to know what the kind of opposition they are dealing with. It's not about reminding the Zambian public of what hardship is there or what is not there. It's about bringing an alternative, a solution to a problem that there is. 13 subjects that we brought in the Constitution Amendment project process. None of them has discussed how bad one is and what alternative there should be. Except, with all due respect to the president here, who has quoted and misled himself, not the Zambian public, about saying the president who have the power to fire elected MPs and nominate one. And I'm glad you had that document, so that the country can see what kind of opposition we have, who lies, even on a live television. There is no provision in our proposed amendments to say the president will have the power, the autonomy, to undo what the elected people have done. Zero. I am glad you gave it to him. In the same way you challenged the first lies he made, when he said they don't even have it in the agenda of their constitution. When it lies there, it is there. The Zambian public are saying, what is it in the amendment of the constitution of the 13 topical issues that is negative in it? They have all failed to cite one, except a falsehood that the president here cited, except now just targeting an individual. This constitution, it is not about HH. By the way, it is not HH who sits to make decisions. The man loves dialogue. The man is patient and listens to everyone, including a simple me. He listens, and I provide guidance.
Now you're lying.
I want to tell you something, IP, if I can be protected with some certain
You are protected,
passing
please.
commentaries,
You are
and we would
protected. Go
respect
ahead,
each other. There are sentiments that were spoken here, where the president here even sympathized with me of having stayed in cabinet this long. Sorry, but no thank you. Maybe I may even be a menace. Maybe I may even be a nuisance to HH, because I'm always bagging on him on demanding things to be done. He's well tolerant. But now let me start responding to the individual responses from Tonse, from CF, and, from Tonse, from CF, and from EFF. EFF said Zambia promised $54 billion in investment. We have been very clear. Under my ministry sits Zambia Development Agency, which brings investment in our country. We have always been clear and transparent of informing the country of pledged investment that is coming into the country. And we also put on the other page actualized investment. We are now going to almost $10 to $11 billion of actualized investment. Let's talk about the mining industry. I served in the mining industry for 15 years. Don't forget, a member of Tonse who is PF, when they ran this country, mines were closing on a monthly basis. Before we came, 2 were at the verge of leaving. We have revamped Konkola Copper Mines with a direct injection of $430 million coming, which has come. Mopani, over $1 billion that has come in. Lumwana, $2 billion actualized investment with jobs coming on board. FQM with $1.25 billion increase in the...
Just hold on
Before
there,
you
Honorable
proceed.
Minister, I will compensate your time.
Yes,
There's
I
a hand
would
here.
just want, with all due respect, I really appreciate, we have the actual numbers that you have as your department, and I'm glad you have admitted that you gave 5 billion investment pledges, and on your website right now, it is showing that you have only actualized 8.9%, which is only 16.5% of your pledged. And I should quote the Private Sector Development Association chairperson, Mr. Yusuf Dodia, who revealed that 85% of investment pledges have failed to materialize. Are you aware that 85% of the investment pledges that your mighty UPND pledged under your key stakeholder department has only given us 15% success?
Okay. May I proceed?
You can proceed, Minister.
Listen to me.
And also respond to his...
Simple issue. I'll deal with his interjections. Very simple.
Right.
I was even giving you now actual figures, first in the mining sector that have come on board. And I'll tell you even the jobs that have been created. You are talking about, look, you are saying there are so many challenges in the country. Why are we focusing on the constitutional amendment alone? And I'll tell you our focus in the energy sector, in the agricultural sector, and what we are doing. Just because there is this challenge, we will not be oblivious to the reality of what we should do also in the constitutional amendment process. And the same mouths that are saying, why are you focused on it, are now calling for an early election today so that we can amend it tomorrow. Do you know what they have in mind? All they don't want is the son of the land that is sitting advocating for this. I will discuss also the issue that they're talking about, where he was born.
Son of the land, advocating for reforms.
That's according to the minister.
HH is the son of the land.
Why is
Like
he
I am a son of the land.
advocating? Is that his job
Oh
to
my
advocate for reforms?
Right. Hold on, Minister.
And then
IP.
IP. I also wanted to.
I'll give you the whole time.
IP.
Hold on.
IP. I wanted.
Interjections allowed.
Yeah,
But
IP.
when
I wanted.
you-
I wanted.
when you listen-
IP. I wanted to say
Constitutional
something.
reforms
If
are
you
about
cut me like
people.
that,
So,
if you
IP.
cut
What
me like
about
that,
the
I-
president?
No, you want.
Go ahead.
You want.
First, IP. Before
Let's
before.
hear from Ambassador, and then I quickly come to you. I hope you.
But before you do that, I want you just as the public to understand the anger that has just come in when I just refer to the president, son of the land. You see the anger that just come, and the whole anger is centered on an individual. He's the son of the land.
Okay.
Like I am the son of the land.
Hold on. I don't
She's
know
the
whether
daughter of the
it's
land.
anger or not. Hold on.
It's
Let's
amazing.
confirm that. Ambassador, please, you can exhaust your point.
No, actually, just
Then I
wanted
bring in
him to
Mr.
clarify who he means by the son of the land advocating for the reforms. And he said it's President HH. And I said that's not his job. It's not him to advocate for reforms. It's for the people of Zambia to demand reforms from him and his cabinet. And this is where they are missing it. That's why he's always saying, in 1991 he had reforms. The people wanted those reforms. We asked for them, and the President Kaunda gave us. And he called an early election in 1991. The election should have been 1993. We refused to change when President Mwanawasa started I think it's the National Constitution, what was it called? The National Constitution Conference, NCC.
Yes.
He started that in 2007,
Right.
no, 2004. And it went on and on. UPND together with PF did not want that because President Mwanawasa wanted Parliament to adopt. And PF and UPND said, no, we must go to a referendum. And President Mwanawasa never saw any reforms during his time. And it went on to President Rupia Banda, who was defeated now because of the combined numbers, PF and UPND in 2010. Then came President Sata, who took over from the same, started by President Mwanawasa, and now they had this, the constitution review process, which was then signed off by President Lungu in 1916. So even the comparisons that you don't want my reforms, but you allowed the reforms of other presidents is not there. And that is not even an objective argument which should be coming from somebody, from the son of the soil in that position.
Your point is taken. Let's give me some Cooper.
But you've not heard
IP.
anything from
But
what
I want to
said.
collect all the interjection, then I give you
But
time
IP,
to.
relax.
IP, I think you've given
Is
me
this
the
forum
floor.
about-
I think you've given me the
So hold
floor.
on, Mr. Mkupa.
No, you've given me the floor.
Okay,
You've
please,
given me the
go
floor,
ahead,
so
go
I
ahead.
will not let Chipoka Mlenga interject.
Go ahead, Mr. Mkupa.
Thank you. Now, I want to say this. This is why in the first place, when we began this debate, I said, you call yourself honorable, but what is so honorable about what you are propagating? There is no way. I am personally offended that Chipoka Mlenga today can come and tell us in this studio that he was expecting ZNP president to be here, and because ZNP president was not here, he wanted to go. Nishi Inwa Chipoka Mwawa minister for 4 years, you only can debate with presidents? I think that's an insult on our intelligence. Now, anyway, I want to go to the next thing that I wanted to interject him on. The issue of Bill 7. You talked about youth representation. You've talked about women representation. Does it take youth representation and women representation for you as a responsible government to do your job? I'll allow you to answer that. The next question I have for you is, UPND in the opposition was allowed to demonstrate. Why is HH now, today, calling those who are wanting to demonstrate, which is a constitutional right, why is he calling them toying in the streets? It was good for him, but now that he's president, it's bad. And now he thinks those that want to demonstrate are they are being unreasonable. That's not how you run the country. And that's why President Mwenda here is saying, you look at the type of person that you want to dialogue with. President HH is not the person. For me, I won't even beat about the bush, and I won't even gloss over this. He's not a person that wants to listen. He's a person that wants to be listened to. You don't govern like that. You listen, and you... So listen, the president in 2021 conducted a very solemn duty and swore to defend the Constitution. You see what I'm saying? But what we have, just like my colleague here from Citizens First has said,
the non-entity from here.
in 1991, in fact, those elections were held in 1991. They were supposed to be held in 1993. But because President KK was a listening president, he yielded to the demands of the people.
Right.
When we look at 1996, or is it 2001, when FTJ wanted to do those constitutional maneuvers also, what did he do? He yielded to the people. Why? This is a document. That's why in our preamble, like I said, it says, we the people. But this time around, in fact, if I take it back to 2016, the provisions of the 2016 amendments were those that were very contentious from the Mwanawasa days. For example, clauses of a running mate. Nobody had issues with that. And in 2016, we saw President Edgar Lungu, may he so rest in peace, sign that into law.
Right.
And there were no contentions.
Right.
But we now have a constitution making process or amendment that's going on that is now being driven from State House.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mkupa. Thank you so much. As to come back to you, let's allow the minister to quickly utilize his time. Honorable Minister, proceed for that.
I will not lose my thought.
Right.
And IP, I would love to lobby in this way. You've given everybody all the time to talk, and nobody has been interjecting them. I was just talking about, look, they said we have done nothing. So now I was just trying to explain to the country the investment that we have done, the pledges and actualized. They are all vexed. They are flying all over with tempers and saying, calling names. Relax, guys. We have to explain to the country in the same way you've been given an opportunity.
But you say the truth.
And let's, do you know why they're interjecting to stop me? Because they know that I'm telling the right things to the country and people will listen.
Let's give him time. Let him explain.
They will continue doing it. And I'll tell you something. I was very clear in my statement. No pride, no egocentric approach. I was clear to you when I said the advert was talking about something else, but it represented something else. So I just did not want to be a party to a misrepresentation to what is on the TV. Not out of ego. You understand?
That is well noted.
Exactly.
Well noted.
So not what is being said and these statements, but I'll tell you something. I am committed to doing this. They said nothing has been done. Because you don't understand the jobs that have been saved. The revitalization of the mining sector. The manufacturing sector. I want to talk about something that is very important. He gave figures of what has been given, and I insist on what I'm telling you.
Are those figures correct?
That I'm giving
Because according to him,
you can IP quote me. Right. $2 billion in Lumwana Super Pit, $1.25 billion in FQM S3 expansion. And by the way, KSM is coming about with $1 billion. Right now, they've released $430 million. Mopani, over $1 billion is coming. About $600 million has been done with 2,700 new jobs. KCM 300 new jobs. You're talking about Kitumba Mine and among many others with 3,000 jobs among more that are coming on board. Now let's go into the manufacturing sector. You talked about fertilizer. We've always depended our economic revival or growth in mining. Governments in, governments out have spoken about diversifying our economy into agriculture. You can never diversify your economy in agriculture when you're importing fertilizer, you're importing tractors, you're importing everything. My mandate by His Excellency the President was to look at ways of reducing the cost of fertilizer. But how do we reduce the cost of fertilizer? We have to start producing fertilizer ourselves. What was the low-hanging fruit we had? Nitrogen Chemicals of Zambia. 75 employees were left there. We have created 250 new jobs at NCZ. By this government injecting $6 million, brand new blending plant. More, what do we need to do? Because NCZ installed capacity cannot satisfy the Zambian need. We have set up a new company called United Capital Fertilizer. Workers' compensation is a part into it. So United Capital Fertilizer is jointly owned by the private party and the Zambian government.
I think we're digressing.
We are not digressing. I need to answer the investment he was talking about.
Yeah,
Why is it fitting?
Because I want your minister also to respond to his question in terms of, I think he raised some very pertinent issues. I think something again he brought out was that during your time in the opposition as UPND, you were allowed to protest.
Yes.
Why do you want to stop
I
the people
will
of Zambia
answer
to
that.
protest today?
Listen
That
to
is
this.
very profound.
No problem.
Yeah, because I didn't talk
So
about
let
the
me
mining
quickly,
industry, so answer
let me quickly,
Okay.
you talked
He's
about the
about to wind
agricultural
up.
sector.
Yeah.
So I wanted to justify it. Because you talked about it, I did not. So I should give you what we have done into it. You should allow me also to explain to the Zambian public the development agenda that is there, as opposed to the lies that are flying around. But another thing that was talking about, delimitation is a secret by the UPND. It's not a secret by the UPND.
Why is the report?
Exactly. And that is why we have always told you the Electoral Commission of Zambia is available.
Where is the
Engage
report?
them for it. So they're there. And we've always felt they're there. The Electoral Commission of Zambia.
Where's the report?
I don't.
Where is that
I'll tell you
report?
something. The
Because this
executive.
report has been
Listen
kept
to me,
a
colleagues.
secret.
Yes. Let him answer.
You can speak with your English and your knowledge like this, but the Electoral Commission of Zambia is not managed by the cabinet. The chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Zambia is available. Engage her. Why are you running away from it?
I thought
You've
it's the
been
same
open to it.
government. I mean, really. ECZ is being
It's
funded
government.
by the
Let me
government.
tell you.
Not so.
Just like we fund the judiciary, but do we make decisions for the judiciary? Just like we
You
fund parliament,
appoint,
do we,
but
do we
you
make decisions for the
appoint the
speaker?
judiciary and you
There is
nominate
separation of
ECZ.
powers.
But you nominate them.
Let me drive this. My question
This
to you,
is-
Minister.
I need to say something
and I will
The
important.
minister
frame on
is
this.
not
Hold on.
answering
And
the
I will frame on
questions.
this. Hold on,
I
Mr.
was
Cooper.
referring to
Hold on,
constitutional issues, demonstrations. He's
Uh,
talking about
Mr.
agriculture
Cooper,
and mining.
Hold on. My question to the minister is, where is the delimitation report?
Let me answer
and
you
if you
now.
are going to bring that excuse,
Yeah.
that go and speak to the ECZ,
Yes.
you are the ones. It's the executive driving the
Yes.
delimitation
Yes.
exercise.
Let me answer you.
Yes, please.
The delimitation report, actually, even the constitutional amendment process we are doing today,
Yeah.
is a culmination of many constitutional review commissions that have been around, including the constitution amendment or delimitation process. It has been done long before. All that has to be done is implementation. And we tell you, it is there. UIP, engage ECZ. I cannot do that. I do not have the legal right to do that. I'm telling you. Just like you telling me we fund them, like we fund the judiciary.
So they can
Does the
give
judicial-
them, but
does
they
the
can't
president
give
direct
us,
the
Mr.
judicial-
Moderator.
He's not exactly saying they can give you, but they can't give him.
He's actually answered. If I hear him correctly, he has not answered my question.
Okay.
He's sending
Answer.
me and together people of Zambia to go to ECZ.
Listen
That's
to
what I've got it from
me.
there.
No, let me answer you correctly. It's not my preserve
It's even a public
It's not
document.
my
It can
preserve
even be online.
to announce that.
Yeah.
It's a preserve of the Electoral Commission of Zambia.
Right.
Just like, listen, I may be minister. I do not have the right to look into a judgment of a judge. It is a judge to pronounce it at a prescribed time. We can recommend this is what has to be done. The right officer bearers must announce it. But let me
Why-
run to the constitutional
Yes.
amendment
Why
so that
has
I
your
can
I think I would like
Why
that.
is your government not allowing the people, like the WASIS Forum, who intended to protest?
Okay,
Why
now let me answer you
stopping
this.
people from protesting?
Let me answer you this.
When you yourselves protested when
I'm
you were in
asking questions,
opposition.
please, Mr. Mkupa. Hold on.
They were even
Hold on.
protesting in Choma the other day.
Ambassador, hold on, Mr. Mkupa, hold on. My question is, under your reign in the opposition, you were able to protest.
IP.
The president himself, President Hakainde Hichilema, was on record having protested.
Yes,
Why stopping people
Yes,
from
I,
Yes.
I really like the aggression of response from your people. This is the attitude that they had even when they had the reins of power. That's why you saw violence after violence in this government, in this country. hacking after hacking.
4 years
The
in
attitude
government,
they
you want to
have
talk about
of
PF?
aggression. Now,
No,
let me
but
tell you
the
something.
UPND
You mean
was
these were
the
in power
most-
yesterday?
Exactly.
The terms
4 years
of
in
PF.
government, you still want to talk
Can I
about
tell you
UPND was
about
the
PF.
most
Okay, so hold on,
violent party
Minister.
in
Let's deal with
opposition
facts.
ever.
He wasn't in government.
Tonse, that's PF.
But you are in
President
government
Yes.
4 years
You wasn't in
in.
government as well.
You still want to talk about PF.
And you are still
defend the consent
demonstrating
when you
when
are
don't say when PF
Your
was
Hold
failures,
on.
your failures in the 4 years, you still want to blame PF. Isn't that embarrassing?
IP.
Okay, thank you so much.
But
Yes,
maybe-
Minister.
Listen
Go
to
ahead.
me.
Go ahead.
I can see you are really siding when I want to make a point.
No, because you're not saying the
Listen,
truth.
you asked me a question.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
We are avoiding this protest and everything. We have a president who believes solutions are on a table. Every time there is a protest, there is a likelihood of damage to property, among other things. What is so distasteful of saying, colleagues, let's dialogue? Do you know why people protest? Because they're not being heard.
Yes.
But when somebody says, I'm here to listen, let's dialogue. I was a student. 3 of them were at universities. I shared a certain institution of higher learning at one time as well. Where year in, year out, it was protests. Even when I left, damage to property. Now let me tell you what this president wants to achieve. Stop sending police to students when they've not gotten their meal allowances. Go and dialogue with them. Understand their concerns. Deal with them. Under the 4 years of reign, yes, we've had one protest from students at the University of Zambia.
IP.
And the recent one in Kagwe.
Sorry, IP.
What has stopped those protests and damage of property to
Let
people?
him conclude. I
The
want to
question
go
you
to
have
the
asked
second
him
round.
is, when they were in opposition, were they allowed
He
to
has taken
demonstrate?
the
Why should I give
The answer
context
is,
to-
Yeah, that question has been taken.
what has
It's
it? What,
noted.
I haven't noted it. What did he say?
You will answer. He's on the floor right
IP.
Yes, please.
You know, I like this gang where if I try to explain, they all come like wolves. You must understand, I need to give context to where we're coming from.
Could you just apologize? I mean, withdraw the word gangs.
No, I
and
can't.
wolves.
Right,
I can't.
right.
Why would I can't? Why would I? Everybody has been talking.
Typical of
without-
UPNG.
listen,
That's how you are. Go
Everybody
ahead.
has been
Go ahead.
talking without me interjecting. But when I want to make a point, the 3 of you are coming to stop me. Allow me to explain this to the public. It's not for your consumption.
That's
It's
because
for
you're
the public.
digressing.
You're digressing,
You're
exactly.
I'm not
answering
digressing.
the
You're
question
wasting
You know
time.
what you are
giving
saying?
you.
Why are you stopping protests? Protests result in atrocities.
It is a democratic
Dialogue.
right.
Dialogue,
Hold on, some-
dialogue provides decency.
It does not. It is not the prison of Chipoka Mulenga. It
Mr.
is a
Mkupa,
democratic
Mr. Mkupa, hold on.
right.
Mr. Mkupa, hold on, please.
So whether he determines that there's going to be
So-
violence in a protest
So hold on.
does not
Don't
really
make
hold
my
my.
interview difficult.
Provided the police have given a go ahead,
No,
there's
the question is
protective of
simple.
life.
Ask him a question and he's on the floor. He's going to answer. Is that clear?
Let him answer. Not
Yes.
Not
Look,
what is.
the more we keep on, throwing in some running comments, we are distracting the viewers as well. There. That's what I mentioned. These microphones are quite audible enough to cause confusion around the studio. Please, Minister, proceed.
So, out of dialogue, you resolve issues amicably. And it is the more reason why you saw, even in the earlier statements of Madam Beauty Katebe said, we are grateful because there was a game of championing. Who will do this, who will do this. But we are grateful you brought us here to dialogue. It's out of dialogue where you resolve issues. They are being distasteful of me explaining how now universities and places have come subtle and calm because of dialogue. We are coming from a background. If people don't appreciate how dialogue is, I should give you where we are coming from. For 4 years, one protest, 2 protests by students. But in the past, in a year, every academic year, we are
Why
going
do
to
you
the
allow-
streets. But now, I need to say this, that is critical.
Yeah, I feel you are taking too much time. My
Okay.
question is, we've seen students also protesting in solidarity to the president.
Yes.
So seemingly, your government only allows those who are
Pro.
protesting in favor of your government
Exactly.
and the president.
Yes.
Students have been to State House in and out,
Yes.
protesting in solidarity of the president. Those who seem to be against your certain policies,
Then lives
they
will
are
be lost
stopped.
Okay, let me say something.
and property
I have
damage.
seen University of Zambia students not protesting, marching in solidarity. Marching in solidarity and protesting are 2 different things. Let me give you an example in this country. I have seen my elder brother,
think there's so
Lusambo, and
much-
others protest. Nobody stopped them. Did even a lone protest even went to the American embassy. Nobody stopped them.
Minister Chipoka, just
But
a
when
question.
you
Just a
sense-
question,
when
Minister
you
Chipoka,
s-
on demonstrations. Just a question.
Can
that-
we have
I'm
integrity?
coming to
as
there's
humans?
I'm coming to
please.
you.
I want to ask him a
Hold on.
question, based on what he's
Debate-
saying.
Wait, a debate makes sense if we give each other time to speak.
All right.
So the minister is about to wind up. Minister, will give you a minute to wind up,
Okay.
so that we can go
I've
back
not
to
made
another round.
any deliberable statement because I've been interjected. When I never interjected to them in everything they spoke, not that I was in agreement with what they were saying, I gave myself time to listen so that I understand them, and I respected them. Why is it so hard for that caterer to be paid? Why are they so impatient?
Please, go ahead.
This is the kind of leadership we're talking about. Be patient, listen to your people. If you don't agree with me, listen. I thank him, he's a young man, but he's able to listen and pay attention. It's good and etiquette. How you want me to treat you, treat me back. They have highlighted a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Why I'm trying to even labor on explaining something, because anytime I say something that makes sense, they jump into it. They challenge us about investment, which is not there. Every time I try to explain the investment, they jump into it. They said fertilizer is still expensive. When I want to justify fertilizer, they jump into it.
I think he's not
Okay.
saying.
So let me say
anything.
now, let
You
me come
need
to this.
manage
IP.
the process.
There is a plural.
Yeah,
Somebody already-
There is even nothing wrong
Let
with
him
it.
conclude.
Come on, semantics of English, we all know them. So now let's listen to this. Let's go to CF, Citizens First. They say Zambians need drugs in hospitals, they need electricity, and I'll answer that one with a lot of clarity. Yes.
Right.
When we took over government, numbers don't lie. The availability of drugs in hospitals was 37%. Every single day, people were going to hospitals getting prescriptions to chemists. What did HH do? The first place he visited and only was the Ministry of Health. He walked away from State House, sat there. What are the challenges? Where are we? We have moved from 37% to 86%. The 14% lag is in essential drugs, is in drugs like antiretroviral drugs, cancer drugs, among others. Today, somebody can go to the hospital, they'll get a prescription, they'll get a drug. Yes, there will be exceptional cases of other drugs that are needed, but we have moved and we made progress. On the electricity part, we take ownership as a government responsible. And we go to bed with pain every day to see our SMEs closing because there's no power, to see our big multinationals or major companies operating at half capacity. And that's why we are working so hard tirelessly to making sure that even the resource that was sleeping, we make it to produce gas, energy for us, core. Right now, as we are talking, government in collaboration with Mamba Collieries, 300 megawatts power plant. Government with United Capital Fertilizer, 600 mega power plant. If we started doing this IP 10, 20 years ago, we wouldn't be in this state. But as a country, we take ownership. We never invested in alternative sources of energy. Now we are doing it. But while we are doing this, because whether you like it or not, this investment will not happen overnight.
Right.
It takes some time. But while it is happening, we can't just ignore now the reforms that will bring young people into leadership, women into leadership, the limitation to make that the $40 million kwacha goes into many places. We can't do that.
Right.
So
Thank you so much,
the-
Minister. Let's move on. Time is not on our-
IP. There's something that is important I need to say. Give me the benefit of the developments that was happening, so that you understand. In the same way, you're busy moving
I'll
from
give
me
you
to the
15
other.
seconds. You've been on the floor for the last 8 minutes, if you ask me.
Barely. So let's
Go ahead.
talk about the 7 thrown out of court. One of the speakers, who was very aggressive, said this was thrown out of court by the Constitutional Court. It was not thrown out of the Constitutional Court. The Constitutional Court read clearly it lacks wide stakeholder engagement. That's what they wrote. What did the president do? What did this cabinet do? We listened. Let's withdraw it so that it can get wide stakeholder engagement. And it did. The Oasis Forum took us to court. Just last week, in the Constitutional Court, what did they read? It cannot be stopped. Because it has met all the merits. Where is the illegality of it?
Right.
So the constitution making process, now IP, I'll tell you. I was hoping that people here would discuss this item is dangerous, this item is bad. It has got nothing to do with the extension of the stay of HH in power. Zero. 5 years, there will be elections. Another 5 years, there will be election. Running mate, everybody will be there. All it is talking about is now, can we bring inclusive clauses where Zambians will have the liberty to participate? Now, to qualify and clarify one point that I need you to
As you
understand,
conclude now.
as I conclude,
Yes,
the point
please.
that the president here talked about, where he spoke about the president firing or not firing. From the time I've been minister, I think we have done 84 by-elections. Do you know the cost of those by-elections to the Electoral Commission of Zambia? Is a lot.
Democracy is expensive.
We have got no problem with it.
Right.
But if there is a way we can save the cost, we do it.
You know?
So that is a point. You know, I like where people just jump in. You know, sometimes it's got to do with how we grow up.
It's
too long for me who's making sense to them, because to them it was not taking too long.
Conclude, Minister.
But I'll tell you something, IP. As a country, we should understand this. There will never be a right time for constitution amendment. Here, the PF, where Tonse belongs, like my friend there, they amended the constitution in January before 2021 general elections. We started this process earlier this year, over a year before the elections. So you tell me, when is it the right time to do the amendment of the constitution?
That question will be answered by the people of Zambia as well as your fellow panelists. But for now, let's look at this last video of what has transpired in the National Assembly today.
The Speaker stating his or her
Please don't refer to me as
decision.
a
Honorable members may wish to note that Standing Order 122.1 also provides that a bill that has been deferred for a period exceeding 6 months is deemed withdrawn by a member sponsoring the bill. In this regard, I wish to inform the House that I have received communication from the Honorable Minister of Justice indicating that the Minister now seeks the House immediately resumes consideration of the bill. To this effect, the select committee that was constituted to scrutinize the bill will commence its meetings immediately. I thank you.
Or several months ago, it has now been restored before the National Assembly. What does this mean to you?
What does this mean to me is, this is a very sad day for Zambia. This is a very sad day for democracy. This is a very sad day in the sense that despite the call to dialogue, despite the call to sit on a round table and discuss all the contentious issues, what we see is that the government is in overdrive. I was actually about to make a comment because the Oasis Forum was invited to State House on Friday last week, and the president and them had an engagement. On Monday, there were those that were pro Bill 7. And that was yesterday. And today, it's back in Parliament. That is why I'm saying it is a sad day, because this shows the highest levels of hypocrisy on the part of government. It shows me that despite the calls to negotiate, there were still maneuvers that were happening behind the scenes that actually forced this bill back into Parliament. Now, I want to make this sentiment, IP. Like I said in the beginning, we have very pressing needs as a nation. We are grappling with the price of Millimil. UPND took over Millimil, took over the government when Millimil was at 110 kwacha for a 25 kg bag. Today, we all know what the price is. And I can tell you that UPND took over government when the price of the kwacha to the dollar was 17. Today, you know what it is. UPND took over government when PF only gave us 3 to 4 hours of load shedding. I could be wrong on the number of hours, but they were not more than 6 or 7 hours of load shedding. This is a government that is giving us 2 or 3 hours of power. What am I trying to say? If only UPND had exercised the same interests, the same, I would call, insatiable appetite that they have demonstrated on Bill 7, if they only had applied that on these many other pertinent issues that affect the people of Zambia, today we would have been speaking of a great story and a success story of a government that listens and that implements what they promise. I can only say that it is very unfortunate, and I want to take this opportunity to lobby the members of parliament that will be voting on that day to think about the average Zambian citizen. This is not about President HH. This is not about UPND. This is not about PF. It's not about Citizens First. It's not about EFF. This is about our country. This is to do with us and the generations to come. How will our children judge us? Because let's not formulate documents that please or appease a certain clique of people. These are documents that should be formulated to stand the test of time. Now, for me, this is an assault to democracy. And it is very, very unfortunate. And I want to be very, very clear on that. And even as Minister Chipoka is here, I want you to know that the Zambians are not happy. Zambians are angry. And I gave you statistics when I started. I said...
Could we say some Zambians?
Yeah, so let me... Majority Zambians.
Right.
So, and why I'm saying majority Zambians is because if you look at the number of people that are eligible to vote, the number of people that are eligible to make submissions for the constitution making process, we have over 11 million Zambians that are eligible. The number of submissions that the government has taken through this technical committee is only 11,830. Like I said, that represents only 1% of the Zambian population, which is why I am saying the majority Zambians are not happy. The people that are happy is President HH, the UPND government, and those that sympathize with them. Now, the number that we're looking at is very, very decimal.
Right.
And I want to appeal to Minister Chipoka. Even when he was talking, I want to say that as we deliberate on these issues, there's nothing personal, Minister. It's not about loving or hating you.
Personal.
No, hold on. Hold on. This, look, I don't need to love you or hate you. You were elected because because you promised people that you were going to deliver. And so when you promise people that you will deliver, they expect you to deliver. So if you do not deliver, you anger the many Zambians. When I stand here and I speak, I'm speaking on behalf of a number of people out there. When you stand to speak, you also speak for a number of people. So let's not be dismissive of each other. All I'm trying to say is, it's not about loving or hating you. We want you to perform.
I don't need you to love.
We want you, no. We want you to perform to the expectations of the Zambian people. Remember, you are a government that made so many promises. In fact, you made more promises than any other government in the past.
That's very right.
And, no, hold on. And that is why you are the worst performing government in the history of this country. So, what I'm just trying to tell you is, this message you may want, even in the studio, you are trying to take a posture or a stance of being a victim. No one is victimizing you here.
Yes.
All we are saying here is, because you are saying this group, this what, no. Is what we are raising legitimate or it is illegitimate?
I want you to conclude now.
So I want to conclude to say, IP, today is a very sad day for Zambia.
Right.
This is an assault to democracy. And I can only say that posterity will judge the UPND.
All right, thank you so much.
Can
That
I
was
come in and say something?
Mr. Mukupa. Before, of course, Ambassador comes in, let's hear from the Minister. Minister?
We are a very objective government, and we don't personalize our works. And that's why when we are talking about it, we're talking about the public. The people are able to see here who have gone personal, who have gone Chipoka, who have gone HH.
Right.
It's for the public, and
All right.
we remain
I'll come
resolute
back.
like
You
that.
will conclude, don't worry.
Thank
Let me hear from Ambassador as well. Ambassador, your quick take
Thank
on
you.
that. Then I go to the President and then the Minister
Okay.
concludes.
Maybe just for the Honorable Minister that I don't appreciate being called a gang a member of the gang. I believe I'm a distinguished ambassador, and I have a good record at the UN. You can see for yourself. And I believe you're also a distinguished minister. And when we have this argument here, it's in the spirit of brotherhood and one Zambia, one nation. We love you, and we love the president, and we love the UPND. We are one and the same. So please, let's not start getting too personal and all. But also, I think it's just good that we stick to the issues that we are discussing. You know, it's very unfortunate that my brother here today continues to have his success yardstick as that of the PF success. That is why we removed PF from office, because we believed they were not giving us what we wanted. They were not leading us in the right direction. So for the minister and the entire cabinet to keep talking PF left at this, we have done, that is what is supposed to happen. They're supposed to move us from where PF left us. You take us upwards. And we appreciate for the report you give about health. But we still need to have the life-saving drugs in every institution, and we hope you can continue to work on that. I'm glad that he talks about the energy. Indeed, the energy, it cannot even be said to be a collective failure of successive governments. This is squarely on the UPND government.
Yes.
Within PF, we had maximum we had was 8 hours of load shedding. With UPND, they have taken us to 72 hours of load shedding, and they give us 2 hours of power, and they say clap for us who have done well. I think that is just so wrong. There is no country, the whole world, of all the 192 member states of the United Nations, no one country has ever had the kind of load shedding that Zambia experiences when they are not in conflict or in war situation like we are. You know, the maximum that countries have, even Zimbabwe next door here, they are now having 21 hours of power. We are having 2 hours of power. So where is the shared power going to? Because Zambia and Zimbabwe are drawing from the same river. And for us, we are having less. We see contracts being signed when we are told we do not have power. But in January, on January 15th, a contract is signed to give ZESCO to give power to some company to start selling power to Congo DR, to South Africa. All these are flaws. Let's prioritize the well-being of the common man. And coming to the constitution-making process, I'll say, in the beginning, I said this constitution is flawed both in content and in process. And what is worse is even just the process is just so flawed, because this constitution-making process has been shrouded in secrecy. You know, we don't know who originated it. We know that from what we are seeing, it does look like State House originated this constitution-making process. The content, yes, you have put women, you have put the youth, you have put people with disability. Altogether, the president will have to nominate 45 people, you know, from the current number that he has.
You need to correct that.
Okay.
Okay,
You need
so
to correct that.
Okay, maybe
hold on, let him interject.
Yeah.
Honorable
Look,
Minister.
we really look. Sorry, Doc, but we need to pass on to the message to the people that is real.
We're here
Okay.
for facts.
The
indeed.
president is not going to nominate 44 people.
45.
45 people, zero. It
Okay.
is, precedence has been set. At every given time, when there is a delimitation or anything, the president always nominates 5% of the members of parliament. Always.
Right.
How will it change?
Thank you, sir.
The 5% of, should there be an increase, it will be 10. Where we are right now is 8.
Thank you so much
45,
for
please.
that
Okay.
correction. I hope Doc agrees with you.
Okay.
But if you don't agree with the minister, don't labor, because I've got a proposed
thing there, 45.
pointers here. So you
Okay.
can still verify from here. Yeah.
There is the PR, proportional representation,
Yeah.
which successive constitutional review mechanisms throughout. Then the reason they were always bringing in was the fact that it's going to enhance tribalism and regionalism, because those party lists are at the mercy of the party president. You know, so when you have the PR system, the president will be, whoever is president, will be picking the people that he wants to put there. And when he are appointed by the president, we are seeing what's happening at ECZ. We are seeing what is happening at Parliament, despite the Speaker being elected by the MPs. But because she was proposed by the President and supported by the UPND, obviously she's pushing the agenda for the UPND. She is on record as saying that people want the constitution review done, you know, after it was withdrawn from Parliament. The Speaker is the one who started
Not withdrawn,
speaking.
but deferred.
It was, I don't know whether it was deferred, because the Justice Minister was asked by the President to stop the process.
Yeah, it was just basically deferred.
After the Concord said this is illegal.
Yes.
Yeah. So then why should the Speaker be the one to start talking about people, which people does she interact with who want the constitution review done? She interacts with the MPs. So these are the things that we are seeing, that this constitution review process is going to increase the power of the President. And successive reviews have always been saying reduce the power of the presidency. But with what we've been given, it's going to increase the power of the President. And when you increase the power of the President, you are going to have more people in Parliament from one party, and that is the ruling party. And anything can happen now, because they will always have more than two-thirds. And this is our concern, that we cannot have a government, we cannot have a situation where we start increasing the powers of the President this day and age, and taking away from the people. The people want to have representatives who are elected by themselves and not through the PR, because the PR it has been turned down on so many occasions.
Right.
You know.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Doc. Let's hear from President Mwenda. You've been quiet for a while. Congratulations for being quiet.
No, we are really grateful. And this country we have is all we have, and we have to share it like people who have got only one country. The challenges we have, when I look at my brother Chipoka here, I really do sympathize with him. He made mention that the UPND has
he told you that he doesn't need your sympathy.
It's okay. I choose who to give sympathy. He doesn't have to agree with it. He could disagree, but I'll still give him because I'm generous. So what I'm saying is that I do sympathize with him, because some of the words oyo bas lekendane na mchibemba ndebo mfuira ko luseba chipoka pantu bachipoka bafuma kuchingola uko abachiwempala kuloko ababa ichi abasheta. Those young boys ba chipoka uko tuafumine lilime, they are going through a very difficult place. And when they see you standing here, I do sympathize with you, because you know there is no employment that has been created. Nganiba KCM, it has been a dismal failure. At their coming Bachipoka, KCM Vendetta promised $1.5 billion injection. Bachipoka shile mpiata shaisa. CSR was 500 to give to the community. Shile mpiata shaisa Bachipoka. Aba iche bakuchiwe mpala. Apabale lala nensala. Takwa benchito. Nga kukopa beoti imwe na inoko tuwaikala kuja. Ifindu nga fili wino. Naba supply fila londoloka. So for us to gross over these very serious concerns, president it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that incidents way and stuff like that. But those are telltale signs that should speak to us of the desperation that our people have reached. We should never underplay Bachipoka. No. Those are telltale signs. We should listen to the people. Opportunity. I'm speaking to you, through you, to the president. When we see people like that, it should be a sign coming to us. I can assure you, ila frustration wala ngira ba chaba kuchwe mpala. Chana tibale toba ma bona nteti bantu matba na 2060% toba ma was president. Tatuliranda fidia. But there is a message behind that. And I didn't just want you to downplay it. No, ba si beauty ba demonstrator ba unza na to control fintu no mali leta cyber. Odo mulakaka apoino na push 3 months imprisonment, my brother, for the first time. Ba linkakira tan law for assembly but it's na payment ni nkwata. Mwali sako bruto ba UPND. Mwali wako bruto. So nga mamona wanta we start demonstrating. It's not because you are in code of things that are happening. It's because of the iron fist you have come with. You take it or leave it. But I'm able to talk to you like this because I care about you and I care about the president too. What is happening, the anger that is fermenting in our people is unbearable. Aba chiba kuchingola. apaso bambachira ntumina na abalonga bambinoko batwere bene bale itata abduction tabeshibe baona libo mumfe ko bache kudeko badedira shimbira la mye after meeting. The other issue is that in this country, even mobile industry, as economic freedom fighters, that is our mainstay. But you panga fundamental mistakes. And one of them is that you are rushing for numbers. Matemok flying numbers. No, 300,000 metric ton, we are hitting that target. That target is a shame on the face of Zambia. Actually, ngamai meeting, people like me will be very disappointed. You know what? Mule imba mabwe, mule pela want for free bachipoka. Mwalibika SI-47 sure. Copper concentrate sure. Mule pela for free, mwalista wave tax. In the 6 months that we are enduring right now, you are going to lose $6 billion as aggregate costs. Of course, no bikako profit. Shonse esho balista transact. Mwalista wave SI, and you have extended it even to December. Oyo mwala that you are just bringing for 3 months. As economic freedom fighters, ngaya isa ishita yesu yakuteka. We will make sure that we make the real money out of copper belt. Okwimba muleimba, but mule pela for free. If you interfere for free, tule shara nensara. That is not how to develop a country. But mune for amke se tulangati, not to meeting a target. That would be a shameful target you would have met. It would have been injurious, and those are wasting assets. Ama minerals mule pela for free. Ma minerals yaba na besu. These are the minerals that were supposed to get us out of poverty. Namba mule pela for free. And we are not happy. We are not happy. People on the copper belt are not happy what is happening. You are giving our minerals for free. Nakuma emeralds tamula wesha na nomba muchilimu alifunyako ila tax. Chimbi ocho ndefo kulandapo bachilandapo sana once, and these people have been very articulate gentlemen. There was no need for me even to talk because these people are actually exuding the frustrations. If you mwana na bashete fi, it is an controlled environment. Every background bachipoka. In fact mule ndana ma security ayengi. Abantu bali sheta. Ya likosa bachipoka. You should take that as advice. Kuzesco, quite a problem. Right now, Zesco is hemorrhaging. File kukamamo, kukamomulopa. Zesco is dying. Mova komesi. Na mshefreska kuzesco. In the first half of 2025, you sent electricity to 11 destination, export destination. You can read for at your own time the mid-year report for ERB 2025 from January to June. You took our electricity to 11 destinations. I would not hesitate to say to Alimi Suing, and this morning, I went to ERB to deliver a court notice for the coming up court session on the 11th of this month. I also went to Zesco. You can check the record. We are suing you, Bachipoka, and your government. We have sued. And we are not happy what is happening to our electricity. Right now, we are producing electricity at record capacity. We are even producing more than Zimbabwe. In Zambia, we have never produced electricity than we are doing right now. But our electricity is being sold. We also are not happy what is happening in Pachisamba Padia. Amala itififi ama sola muletele, igame muleti ata iweme. Na mulete mulefo kutawinduka abantu ati no, we are going to create tuma mini power plants. You are an engineer. We were together in the same school. Nichota mulefo kulanda twali wonse kusibi imwe. You know for a fact that that is wasteful. Mwapango tuma mini grid. It means for each grid, aka kusina zeze kara kwata cable going to the grid. Aka kusi avonga kara kwata main grid. You know that we are going to have 156 mini grids. Duplicity of cables. Each and every power plant. Let me finish it. Each and every power plant. Each and every power plant will have security guards. So you are going to employ Bachipoka 156 security firms ukula gadinga utuma kolowoi utuama power plants. Have you seen how wasteful you are? Do yarama right mule mfuira bunazes komalishibat you only make electricity for only 7 hours. Umushikubonsenga mwamkulala nishina solar power plant ya mkulala mwalishibecho. So you people are using a lot of money. You are wasting a lot of money and we are not happy. Finally on the constitution. Imwe This constitution, we should have been happy. This should have been a uniting factor. Why tamule mona animosity? God be with you. And we are praying for you that amisuli amenso. We know this is a power grab. We respect that. And even if you succeed, people like me, you will see me. And one day, more opposition. And one day, more opposition. You create this monster of Bill 7, Yasanka Constitution, it will look for you. Bill 7 ikamisanga bachipoka na bakainde mukaisanga. So you should be very careful for the decisions that you are making, because posterity will not look at you favorably. It will teach you a lesson. This animal you have created, that is giving the president powers to nominate. I was calculating here, much cannot. No. If you are going to inflate the constituencies to even 600, in that method, it means you are going to have 30 new appointments. Maybe mkafishana 700 MPs. You are going to have even 50 you are capable of having, meaning you are going to have a constitution that is able to reconstitute itself, more voter, but you are going to create a 2/3 majority. Maybe bakainde bantu abasuma sana, but one day you are going to have a very bad person. And that very bad person will use that constitution. And you akesa safi appoint ba blue bakwe beka na ma girlfriends. Roba kesi mu parliament. Offense of Walanda, yeah. So there are those constitutional safeguards in a democracy so that people's powers are curtailed. That law is bad. What is bad in that Nabalanda doctor? That of course the proposed law.
Bill 7.
Bill 7.
No, Bill 7 has got 13 clauses. So now just tell me one. Which gives more power to HH?
Definitely,
one.
No, because 5%.
Yes. Maybe they should remove that 5%.
5%.
It's not even look. Please, because you interject before we finish. It's not even 5%. Is not even in the constitution.
Okay.
What my Zambia, my fellow leaders who aspire to lead the country, look at it does not even talk about 5%. We talk about when the MPs were about 30, there was a certain number that the president was appointing. It was about 4.9. When it came to 50 now he's appointing 8. When you look at what is everywhere, it's about 8 point something. Right now, it moves proportionally like that. IP, you got a document there. I'm sure he's talking about 10 MPs. I'm sure you have a document. You should tell us.
Let me tell you what it was me on the front.
So I mentioned earlier on from the preamble, the reason why I came with this document is for all of us to speak factually.
Let me tell you,
that document. This document and of course other supporting documents. So please feel free to go through this.
That document, with all due respect, I didn't just want to say this in the first instance.
But you should guide, so that the people are not misled. So how many? It's not 40 people that the president will nominate.
So you will conclude and give clarity to it. You may conclude the president.
So, issue, because we don't know how many constituencies the president is going to create. And if he's going to appoint proportionally by 5%, he can even appoint now in excess of 100. Because we don't know how many. So you are not in any factual or moral position to even tell how many you appoint. So even if today I woke up and say President Hakainde Hichilema is going to appoint 50 or 60, I'll be right. And you have no intellectual grounds to argue. Even on that paper, show me also can argue with this paper and show me where I'm wrong. It will not, no, it's just a gesture. It's just a gesture, my brother.
We can't go to this extent.
No, it's just a gesture.
Look, maturity should always take precedence. We can't go to this extent.
That's why I was saying, Wachipoka, you've only
been
been
too sensitive.
for 4 years.
You are being too sensitive.
But the way you are coming out,
this is being too sensitive.
Give him to give him.
Give
him
to.
No. Wachipoka is throwing it for you, Honorable Wachipoka.
Wachipoka is throwing it.
It's fine. MP, I will say it now. Mr. President, could you conclude, please? We allow the minister to
Okay, no, my apologies for giving you this paper, my brother. I'm very sorry.
Yeah,
it was intentional. It was not intentional. But all in all, what I'm saying is that people are crying. It is up to you. Oko to the favor the leader to the reominga on the ground. The choice is yours. But 2026, people will decide.
Right. Minister, I'll give you 3 minutes as well to quickly.
I timed him.
Right.
He has spoken for 9 minutes, almost 10 minutes. I timed him.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So now let's do this.
Go ahead, Minister.
Let me just give you
yes, please.
My opinion. These debates are healthy for the public to listen and learn from. There should never be a point where it's a show of who can speak the loudest or point fingers at each other. And decorum is always important. When you give me an opportunity to speak to the public, I should speak, we listen, and at an appointed time people come in. It's a good riddance in how we do things. It's good riddance. In the same way you're saying I'm digressing from things, you never stopped anyone here who digressed, went to Chingola, Chiwempara, and all those things for a long time, other than what we're talking about.
No.
But let me
Minister,
stick
I
to...
followed his submission.
No problem. Let me stick
followed
to
everything. Worry not
my...
about that.
No problem.
Yeah.
Let me stick to responses. Obviously, all I can do is responses.
Yeah.
What we need, you are talking about the Constitution, why it is wrong about it. 13 issues, none of my dear brothers and sisters has listed one, which is evil. All they are saying is power grab. Power grab from what? From who? How? But if you give me an opportunity to explain one to the 13 ones, I can explain each one of them and how it will benefit the Zambian people, devoid of increasing power to the president. He will not appoint 40 people. He will not disappoint elected officials.
Well, right, so it seems to have been blacked out as the part that's what we're talking about. Right, still watching the bigger program right on KBN TV, and my sincere apologies for that power cuts right in mass media area, Lusaka, Zambia. Have in studio Honorable Chikoka Mlenga was basically on the floor to give his conclusion regarding the topic on the screens. He was being joined by Mr. Kasonde Mwenda, who is the president of the Economic Freedom Fighters in Zambia, as well as Ambassador Dr. Kier, coming from the Citizens First. But of course, we had also Mr. Mukupa coming from the Tonse Alliance. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless Zambia. May God bless Mother Africa.
If they are listening to
Good
us,
night.
I need to say something that is
You
important.
still want to insist,
If
Minister?
they are listening.
Please, go ahead.
There is a misconception that has been spoken to my colleague that Zambia is exporting power to South Africa.
Right.
We do not export power to South Africa.
Please, dear
We-
listeners, our viewers, you can be on standby. The minister is still on the floor.
But we
and
export
were
to
holding the
Namibia.
chance
This, let,
To respond. Minister, go ahead.
Namibia exporting.
Ambassador, hold on.
we love to argue.
Go ahead.
I need to make this clear. When you speak on a TV like this one, you announce to the public. We do not export power to 11 countries. And one country was mentioned here, South Africa. We don't export power to South Africa. We import power from South
Interjection.
Africa.
Interjection.
And we import it through...
This
We can't prolong because
an insinuation has
we're
been made.
back already. So
No, an insinuation has been
yeah,
made
I
that
think-
I talked
thank
about
you
South
very
Africa.
much.
I think
No,
I need
I
to be
did.
protected.
I
I didn't mention the name.
I did mention.
Minister, go ahead.
You see,
When
do
in that, we
not-
can't prolong this conversation. Go ahead,
we
Minister.
do not export. Zambia does not export power to those 11 destinations.
Zambia has never exported.
No, it has
A new
exported
PND.
before. It
Allow
has
the minister
exported.
to conclude.
No, it's a falsehood.
We
It has exported
are on
before.
an audio right now. Minister, proceed. Let's not disrupt it.
May God bless Zambia. And the thing I would issue the Zambian people is, look, this is the kind of leadership we have of the opposition, who bring no solutions but aggression. Believe in the leadership of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, the UPND government. We will deliver meaningful, tangible, resilient development to the country. God bless Zambia. God bless the
In
President.
the next 4
Thank you
months.
so much. Of course, allow me to thank all of you that have been watching as well as listening to this program up to the point where we were cut to power failure right in mass media area. This is the bigger program with me, IP. May God bless Zambia. May God bless Mother Africa. Good night. Thank you so much.